Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. Well, I don't know if I should say grail achieved, as I was not really contemplating this piece until recently, but it certainly feels like the culmination of a couple of years of obsessive collecting. All credits go to Watchfinder's YouTube channel, which presented this model, albeit with the Breguet numerals dial layout, as a relatively affordable entry into Patek Philippe for less than what a Rolex Daytona still trades for, with one of the most useful complications to boot. Actually, at the moment, this Calatrava travel time is also cheaper on the used market than a green Submariner. As you know, when collecting smart, you should try to buy value, bang per buck, and look for value retention potential rather than let the absolute amount refrain your enthusiasm. Given the dozens of Rolex Pepsi, Batman, Hulk, and even Daytona that I see pop up every day in my Facebook and carousel feed, the signs of an unstainable bubble are there for those. While this Patek in excellent condition, full set, appears on the market only once in a blue moon. So I turned on my online alerts to the Patek 5134, and when this one, located in Hong Kong by sheer luck, hit my iPhone screen at the right price, I immediately contacted the seller to keep it on hold until I could visit their office as soon as they would open the next day. The experience was excellent, as it happens to be a rather new, very modern watch trading venture located above one of the main luxury watch retailers of the city. The office is modern, with traders at work around the table, lounges to welcome clients, and a view on the watchmaker's quarters behind a glass window. Kitty, Miss Kitty, was absolutely adorable and very knowledgeable, a pleasure to discuss watches and deal with. It didn't take long to make up my mind, as the watch came from the original owner with a full set of papers and goodies in pristine condition. The watch has one noticeable scratch on the bezel near the upper pusher on the left, quite visible in certain lights, but for the rest it's in top shape and, according to their inspection, ready to wear without any reserve. I was advised not to worry about the scratch, as the watch had never been polished and was best kept unmolested, at least until I've enjoyed it myself for a long time and decide to bring it to Patek for a full service and polishing of the white gold. I wired the money and Kitty hand-delivered the watch the next day at my office. It was quite a special moment for me, as you can imagine. I had held a couple of Pateks before, but holding my own for the first time is an achievement of sorts, I suppose. I understand that some will find too much fuss is made around the brand, but until you see the workmanship in person, you really can't get why it's so special. There's just something magical operating here, and you're drawn into decades of the finest watchmaking history. The wonderful box and all the documentation that you get with it reinforce that sentiment. What drew me instantly is the added complication operated through the side pushers, which adds so much excitement visually. But also, and maybe mainly, it's the movement seen through the display case back, which is a manual wind based on the 215 caliber, with the Geneva seal, not the current and perhaps a bit questionable Patek Philippe own seal. Putting your own seal of approval on your own watch is like me subscribing to my YouTube channel and liking my videos. Okay, I admit I do it, but yeah, it means nothing at all. You get the analogy. Now, this is a classic size, 37mm without the pushers, which is small compared to what I'm used to, but I do love the classic look of a man wearing a smaller watch because he doesn't need the watch to compensate for something he lacks. And that sector dial, with a fairly abundant amount of information, is just mesmerizing in person. I understand that in pictures it won't look all that special perhaps. When you wear it though, it's exquisite. Everything that shines on this watch is made of 18 karat white gold, from the case to the feuille hands to the applied baton and Arabic numeral hour markers. The rather large and dramatically sloped bezel has about the same width as the outer finely brushed ring of the sector dial. It almost seamlessly lines up with the gently domed sapphire crystal as well. The 3 and 9 o'clock numerals are obviously a big focal point, but as symmetrical as it gets, 3 and 9 being similarly shaped numerals. Then you have the two superbly proportioned with fine guilloche pattern subdials that reinforce the symmetry in the vertical axis. The bottom one is the running seconds, the top one a 24-hour display of your home time. Because the watch obviously has a magic trick up its sleeve. Should you travel to another time zone, the side pushers will decouple the local time from a hidden home time hour hand in oxidized white gold, color-coded to the 24-hour subdial's arrow pointer. That way you'll always know when is a good time to call home. The crown is not screwed down, thankfully, so it's a breeze to wind up the 50 hours power reserve on the fly. As you can imagine, winding this piece is as smooth as it gets. No hacking here, so it'll require a bit of ingenuity to synchronize to reference time. Speaking of winding, you can actually see the barrel and gears turn on the back of the watch. I would recommend you to watch Tim Mosso's of the Watchbox. Tim Mosso's reviews of a 5134 reference for a description that does justice to this superbly hand-finished manual winding movement. Rhodium-plated faux coat decoration, gyromax, balance adjusted to heat-cold, isochronism in 5 positions, shock absorber, free-sprung self-compensating flat balance spring, mirrored anglage, heated blued screws, and all the things that result in this watch receiving the Geneva seal, something lost on the current production Pateks, making this watch all the more desirable and sure to retain value. Sapphire crystal front and back, of course, supple black leather strap with 18 karat white gold tang buckle, fine rail track around the dial just crossed by the long minute hand, juxtaposition of textures and subtle shades of silver on the dial, simple curvaceous case and lugs. It's just as elegant as it gets. Had the Patek Philippe Genève marking at the 3 o'clock been counterbalanced by a date window on the other side between the 9 and the center of the dial, this watch would have been the absolute dream. But again, date windows are a blessing and a curse visually. Need I say more? This gem elevates my collection to the next level and acts as some antidote against my recent Rolex obsession. While at first I thought it was a bit small for me, being used to rather in-your-face Rolex dimensions, I realized that in pictures it has the right dimensions on the wrist, compensating what it lacks in millimeters with immense presence. And no, I do not plan on comparing it to the Seiko Saab 035 or anything for that matter, as I would like to believe nothing can compare to the feeling you experience when you get your first Patek. Thanks for watching.